Hello there, everybody. This is Alex from Hardcore Guides, bringing my guide for Pragmata on Lunatic difficulty, and today we're doing Sector 2, Part 1 of 2, entitled Mass Production Array. Yes, there's going to be a second part to this, and we're going to have one of the hardest fights, in my opinion, one of the hardest fights in the entire game, which will be one of the 6 keys that you have to do at the very, I don't know, I wouldn't say halfway point, but once you get outside, there's like 6 different hacking things you have to do, and one of them is on a rooftop after you get past like alarm clock going off. So if you want to see that, skip ahead to the very end of the video. And with that being said, let's just hop right into this. I was actually doing commentary for this like a few seconds ago, but I kind of slipped up my words, and it almost seemed like I probably said something bad when I had not meant to say something bad. And just in case I don't want to get in trouble, so here we are now doing commentary a second time. So let's hope that this one goes well, and I don't, or nothing outside interference-wise messes with me, because I've been having some weird things happen today, so we'll see about that. This is, I think, the first introduction of the little spider ball guys. Out of all the enemies in the entire game, these ones are probably the most obnoxious to deal with. And that's usually only because they fight in groups, and if they fight more than like 3 at a time, or even just 3 in general, it's surprisingly hard, which is something this game doesn't tend to do very often. Is they don't really give you a lot of fights with a lot of enemies at once. I mean, you'll get fights where there's like, multiple amounts of enemies, but they'll never make anything too ridiculous outside of maybe challenge rooms and stuff. So I'm surprised. I'm even surprised that Lunatic mode didn't add enemies in any spots that I've seen so far yet. Like, that's weird. You think they probably would have, but they didn't. So, at least I would have done it if I made the game, but I didn't make the game, so why are you asking me? You can actually grab this upgraded, you can grab that upgraded component outside the fence. You don't need to go inside of it to get it. And then once you come out here, you're going to have a couple of walkers that you can kill. You can avoid them if you wish. But once you get out here, I'm just going to do a bit of exploring. There's not much to explore, and I will be killing, whoever I run across. And this is going to be, I think, the first video where I really showcase that I die. I guess I'd never died to the sector guard. I might be the first boss. I might have thought I did, but that might have been because when I first was testing out to see if Lunatic difficulty would be worth playing, I think I died on him then. But when I did a recording of it, I think that's what it was. I think when I was finally recording the game, I think I did a better job. But to talk about this real quick, this will be one of probably many sectors in this game. I mean, it's only like 6 or 7 of them, I think, in total. But as far as I remember, there's like 6. And this will be one of the few, or I just said many, then go ahead and say few. Which one is it? I think most sectors at this point are probably going to be like maybe 2 to 3 parts, give or take. Maybe? I'm not sure. God, this fucking noise. Sorry, it's just, I had a can of Coke. I know I shouldn't have, but I bought a Coke today, and it's been making some obnoxious noises that you might hear. I'm sorry about that. Also, I found a Ghouls and Ghosts movie trailer. Right there. Yep, right there, up there. Oh, by the way, right onto where the sign's at, there is an upgrade component you can grab. I do grab it in the second part of this video. I don't grab it here because I wasn't paying attention. So, yeah. I also like how the door just closes after that cutscene. When it should just be closed mid-cutscene. But I guess since I skipped it, maybe it didn't close. And real quick, the red doors, I will be doing red doors as often as I can. Because they really don't I don't have too much trouble with them from time to time. So, this is the first time you get a riot blaster. That's where you pick it up at, and they kind of want you to, get used to using it and stuff. Which Riot Blaster's pretty good. That's another gun I think I mentioned before in the first part that I actually don't mind having. And it's actually pretty damn useful from, I would say it's probably the most useful in this chapter when you fight a lot of it. Because they're going to have a lot of moments where you have to fight a lot of enemies at once that can get kind of, well, it's not necessarily that you're fighting like a group that's annoying, which, yeah, that is itself, but look, listen to me. I sound like a hypocrite. It's like, oh, we don't fight that many enemies, but then there's like this one part where you do. And it's like, yeah, I know. What I meant to say about I didn't mean to peek the mic there. What I meant to say about the whole not fighting a lot of enemies is I mean that there's a lot of areas where they could have potentially had like a ton of guys You know, like a ton of walkers out at once. Or not even just walkers, but the little ball guys. You can have like a ton of them. You can have a ton of like the shielded enemies and stuff. Like there's a lot of opportunity for a lot more crazier combinations of characters, but they don't really have that. And I'm surprised by that. But I think that's because they probably wanted this game to be, for the most part, as enjoyable as they can make it. So maybe that's why. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't work on the dev team. Alright, so something about overclock or overdrive, I think it's called. I like to keep it for certain things. And you can, I believe, build it up even if you die. I believe so. So that's why you might see me carry it over sometimes. Yeah, first guy in this first red room, I should probably talk about that instead, is not that hard. It's just a regular walker. And then you have to fight a drone with 2 walkers. Not that bad. And if you do happen to overheat, then, well, there you go. You can get a free, nice little R2 attack. I never pay attention to when I'm doing it, but I think you can actually get more overdrive bar going, I think. Whenever you do a takedown move. But I could be wrong. I had to go check on that, because I never really confirmed it or not during my playthroughs. Because I'm kind of lazy and not really paying attention half the time. I just know what I know, and that's about it. But for the most part, this first room is not that... It's not super difficult. If you come in here with Stasis Net, you'll be fine. Which I was going to mention earlier, like, Riot Blaster is kind of made for this chapter, but you'll see at the very end of this part, not the entire chapter, but this entire part in itself, this video, that it does come in handy with a riot gun. Well, unfortunately, I don't unfortunately, I don't have it at that point in time. But I will tell you about it. It'd be one of those moments where I will tell you, like, hey, might want to come with a riot blaster just in case. So I'll let you know when we get there. But for right now, Stasis Net works just fine because Stasis, and you know, I do overdrive these guys because, well, they're obnoxious to deal with, and it's just easier just to take them out and makes it a lot faster. Besides, I can get my stuff back anyway, so it's not a big deal. But it's mainly this guy right here that makes me want to use it the most. Because he's quite tanky, and, well, hey, I got the chance to hit him and save a couple of stasis nets, so why not? And this right here, this guy was the guy I was talking about before, at least I think I did, where he's the guy that I like using stasis nets on, so I can kind of keep him open for a little bit longer, or not really necessarily open, but just stunned for a bit. Even though I did have a decoy there, which, now that I think about it, was kind of silly of me to do. But either way, I like to use stasis net on those types of enemies, for anybody that's wondering. And there you go. That's how I handle the first red room in this. The first lockdown room. What are they called? They're not that bad. They're kind of fun to play. They're nice little challenges. And like I said, they're not really that hard, thankfully. And also, whenever you hack a objective thingy or whatever, if you go to hack it again, it usually just gives you only one little node you have to change, which is nice. So, there's that. Also, people bitched about the hacking in BioShock, but they don't. But we finally came full circle, guys. We finally have a hacking game that people, I'm sure, like. We did it. We finally made the BioShock game everybody wanted. Honestly, I've been really craving for a BioShock game, man, for like a long time now. We did have Mouse PI for Hire that was kind of close to it. And it's a decent boomer shooter for what it's worth. It's not a bad game. I recommend it. It's a little buggy though, so careful of that. But Pragmata's a pretty close kind of third-person BioShock-esque type thing. And what I mean by that is, like, you know, not just the era of BioShock, but mainly just the feel of BioShock. We don't really have that often. Where there's, like, it's a shooter game with a interesting mechanic system behind it. And for this game, it's like, the interesting mechanic behind it is a hacking mechanic. And I don't know how to explain it properly, but like BioShock has a certain way of doing things. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And I was actually wanting to get my hands on the System Shock 2 remake. But, sorry, that one I think got remastered. I meant to say System Shock 1 remake, because I've been in a BioShock mood. And I don't want to play the original System Shock right now, because I don't want to run an OS on my computer. Or have to play an OS, as they call it. I've tried System Shock 1. It's weird. I probably could get used to it if I tried, but I'm kind of dumb, so. I think every BioShock fan's probably tried that game at least once. And yeah, there's a mini cabin around here that I'm looking for. He's right up there, so take care of that. I don't know what that poster was. I probably should have looked at it. If you do come back here, though, there's extra optional stuff. But there's also, I think, 2, maybe 3 walkers. Yeah, 3. If you have stasis net, now would be a good time to have it, because at least it'll keep them all off. And this is where they show off multi-hack, so that's why that's there. And I mentioned this in the last part. I don't hate the homing missiles as much, but I don't really care much for them either. If I had to pick a red gun, it's going to either be shockwave or piercing. Because those, to me, just are effectively the better weapons. Because I feel like they're just, pretty damn fast. They get the job done, that sort of thing. And also by now, if you're playing along or trying the game yourself on Lunatic, by now you should already be kind of used to walkers. They are the relatively most basic of the enemies. I mean, drones are basic too, but drones have a much more obnoxious threat about them that I don't like, where they come in groups usually, and on top of that, you kind of get distracted with everybody else around you, which makes it hard, which, going back again, completely gets rid of my argument about the whole, not enough really crazy fights. But this fight coming up right now, this one's quite annoying. And I would recommend, if you haven't done the red, door yet, go ahead and save your overdrive for this part. And I think this is where I show myself getting killed. And you guys can see what all happens. Or, if I buy upgrades or whatever, to show you for the future videos what might end up happening. 'Cause I'm going to die. I'm going to die a lot in this game. And I do die in the next part, so just to give, like I said, just give you guys an idea that stuff does carry over. And on top of that, just if I upgrade anything, then there you go. And I mentioned this again in the first part. Once again, hopefully for the final time I say this. But I may or may not miss an edit. So if I mess up, if I come back with like an upgrade that you didn't know I got, the best advice I can give you is every chance you get to upgrade, just upgrade whatever you feel like upgrading. You don't worry about what I'm upgrading. Just focus on yourself. I usually upgrade defense. I try to go through all 3, one at a time. But typically, if I had to pick an upgrade, it's defense and then gun damage. I usually hardly upgrade hacking with upgrade components. And if I'm ever upgrading anything in here, it's probably thrusters. It's probably one of the hacking things. So maybe even the shockwave gun. I typically like to upgrade that. And, bingo stuff, I just do whatever comes up. So, again, I would strongly advise not to be too attached to exactly what I'm doing at all times, because this game has the ability for you to go out of your way to grind. And I did skip a whole lot of this crap because you have to fight everybody again to get up here. And that's why, hence, I have the overdrive ability, because I was able to retain what I had and come back and then fight these guys with it. So, I have to stop doing that. Not every game is Dark Souls, man, and I'm having that problem of doing the same thing right now. It's like, oh, I came back with my stuff, Yeah, but this game's different than that. It's pretty lenient about it, I would say. Like, they let you keep... Oh, that says Diana's. I just now recognize that. Holy crap. Did not see that. The place we're going into, or even right there, with Diana's Donuts. Look at that. Well, that's an odd name for a donut. Let's not dwell into that. I don't want the Twitter hounds coming after me. But yeah, like I said, when I had to go back to get to this area, I did have to fight everybody all over again. And I didn't want to have to waste your guys' time showing that off. So, I assume... I mean, there's a chance that somebody's going to get pretty pissed about that, but just bear with me. It's a weird guide. I'll show you what I can. And to be fair, Lunatic is not that hard until you get to certain parts, to be quite honest with you. So once we get to those certain parts, then you'll get to see my true advice and tips. And like I said, for that last fight right there, that one was tough, but just come in with overdrive and just waste everybody. I know that's probably most likely the answer for just about every damn thing, every damn fight in this game. Sure. If you lose, go back, go grind, go find upgrades, and maybe they'll help you, that kind of thing. Yes, but There are fights where I can actually give better advice at if you're using weapons. For that one specifically, all I can really say is just overdrive, because you got the ball rolling guys that suck. With flying drones that also are just obnoxious to deal with. But again, luckily this game, I didn't mention this in this video, but this game does have great audio and visual cues for things. Diana will let you know, like, hey, you should jump, hey, you should dodge, you know, that sort of thing. You'll even hear the drones setting off, about to fire. These guys have a walking up animation that basically tells you, hey, if you get hit by this, that's your fault. So, I can't complain. Anything that ever happens in this game is my fault. This game is... It's so bizarre having a game come out in the year 2026 and being like, oh my god, I've never had any problems with this game at all. Not once. Believe it or not, like, I don't remember ever... Maybe there's some jumps I might have made that were like, oh, that's kind of weird, but... You know, I might have been too low to make that jump, you know, to grab that ledge. That sort of thing. This game is super polished, I feel. It's bizarre to see that. And then I mentioned this earlier, but Mouse for Hire is a bit buggy, so watch out if you're going to get that game. It's a tad buggy. It's weird, but it's a pretty neat game. And then, yeah, for these guys, for walkers, if we're just finding them out in the wild, I'm not going to talk too much about them, because... What's there to talk about? I mean, it's just regular basic enemies that are pretty damn easy to dodge, thankfully. And eventually you can get a modification, not this one. I don't know if I have it yet. This is a shotgun mod. It gives you, I think, 10% more damage with close quarter weapons or something like that, I believe. So if you want to equip that, go ahead. And that reminds me too, you don't have to equip everything I have. Most of what I'm going to equip mod-wise is probably going to be... No, because you get that as an upgrade. That's not a modification you equip. It's something you actually upgrade into. The dodge, the slow down time dodge mechanic. It's something you do get. I don't know if I'm going to get it right now, but I know that we get it soon. Also, we've already reached halfway through this video, and I'm not out of commentary yet. That's crazy. I'm surprised. But I'm glad I did this way, cutting it in half and stuff, because it would get really bad if I didn't. And like I said, for upgrade components, I usually just stick with the first top two. Sometimes I'll upgrade the last one. Oh, and then Stasis Net, I feel like it's also worth upgrading. And so is probably just most likely Impact Barrier, even though I upgraded. No, I bought Decoy Gun, that's what it was. I think I'm just buying things right now just to have them in store for later. I'm just wasting whatever money. And again, you can go back and grind and go deal with that as you see fit. Whatever you feel like you need. And this was just... I was trying to get the coin. And like I mentioned before, I'm not a monster. I'm not going to try to just avoid her at all cost on purpose. I'm trying to... I just need to get my stuff and go. I'm trying to beat the game on hard. I've already done all the talking with Diana. I enjoyed my moments watching her just, you know, do whatever she needs to. And her cute little pictures, stuff like that, so... Look, I'm not a sociopath, okay? Believe it or not, what people might tell you, I'm not that sociopathic. Which is funny because I've been watching. I know I probably shouldn't admit this is really unprofessional of me to talk about, but it's okay. It's okay. I mean, this game's doesn't have a lot of stuff to really talk about, to be fair, in terms of guide-wise. I've been watching DSP, the DSP Gaming play this game, and my god, the look in his eyes when he sees a little girl have joy. It takes me back to that one video where he's like, man, I'd slap the shit out of that 8-year-old in real life. You should talk to me like that. Yeah, that sounds about right for Phil to say. God, and also, of course, once again, low tier God as well is the same case. They really have no fucking soul, man. Like, Diana's adorable, you know, and then you guys are just dicks. Alright, so for these guys, you can use Charging Rifle to go right, or Charge Piercer to go right through them. And this is what the hell are they called? Enforcers? Something like that. I would recommend coming with it. I would recommend using riot gun. As you can tell, they don't really get stunned for very long. So if you have the riot blaster on hand, what you should probably technically do is go ahead and hack them, open them up, and then hit them with a riot blaster so you can knock them on the ground. And depending on how long you have it open, you know, you either have to hack again or you don't. It's one of the two. If that doesn't work out for you, decoy gun will probably help. Or at the very least, I would say impact guard or whatever it's called, the shield one. Because at least then you can kind of hide inside the shield and they can just attack whatever. But honestly, now that I think about it, maybe decoy might work better. Because if they're attacking your shield, they're trying to attack you. And you won't be able to see their weak points when you hack them. So maybe having decoy out might actually be the better option, now that I think about it. So, and whenever they get the antenna thing, usually a nice, well-placed shotgun blast or even like a rifle shot should be enough. And here's me just learning and remembering, like, again, like, oh yeah, that's right. I have to hit the blue nodes to basically keep the hack out for longer, which is something I never really... I paid attention to the tutorials, but I guess I just must have forgot like halfway through, because you know, it took me, I think, until this playthrough when I realized, oh yeah, I should be using that. And there goes me wasting a whole complete shot. But these guys are absolute dicks. I hate them. You can't hit them from the front. I think I mentioned that before. No, I don't think we ever fought one before. I think we have. Ah, fudge, I don't know. Finding out, there's a riot blaster right there too, of all things. But yeah, when you're fighting them, that's one thing I recommend fighting with. And I'll mention that again at the end of the video, so that way, if anybody happened to skip forward and they want to see that part, I'll just mention it again, just in case. I hate fighting drones on the difficulty now because they take way longer to kill, and it's annoying. They're like one of the only few enemies in this game that start to bug the living hell out of me. One of the natural, everyday occurrence enemies you see. It's like, man, I wish you would die faster. 4 shots should be enough, but no. Fortunately not. Alright, so now we're going to get into another slightly annoying part, but we are getting near the end of the video itself. But I will be doing all this stuff, and there is a crate in the middle, as you can see on the right there. There's a crate right there that I did avoid. I just didn't want to go back and get it. That's my only reasoning. There's usually limb inside of it, so if you want to go get it, go get it. And this is a new type of enemy. Basically, what I do is I tend to kind of wait for them to launch a missile if I'm fighting them by themselves. This is just, you know, if just 1v1. I'll typically just kind of wait for them to launch a missile and then just shoot them down that way. Because it's kind of easy to refocus and rehack. And thankfully enough, to some people's expense, I guess. But I do like how Diana will actually focus priority if there is a missile coming toward you. She seems to usually change what she's trying to hack when she happens to see that there's a missile. So, at least I feel like that's the case. And here's me being kind of silly, thinking like, oh man, I'm going to run Stasis Net this playthrough. And that's going to help out like a ton. It can. Like, I can get the drop on these guys right now with the Stasis Net, but guess who didn't do that? Yeah, no surprise. If you're ever going to use Stasis Net, just use it first and then hack. Don't worry too much about like using it after a hack. But then I just gave up completely and just said, screw it. Overdrive. I killed like a couple of them. Mainly the roly-polies. And this guy, I think, spawned in just as soon as I used it too. Which is really irritating. And this is as far as I think I got when I did my playthrough of Lunatic without recording it. And I missed the limb drone that spawns back here. The only one I've ever found in the entire game, funny enough. Yeah, I have never found another one yet. I don't know where to look, so... If anybody knows, you can tell me, but, I mean, by then I probably would find it. I don't know. So... Beats the hell out of me. This was the one and only one I found. Or at least I ever paid attention to. And luckily, they're not too hard. Once you get used to the hacking mechanic, it's like, okay, just follow the lines, do what you can. Of course, I'll only get like halfway through it. But he does stop at like pretty much every corner. And he does respawn, I think, too. And luckily, this game keeps your hacking in progress. It doesn't go down slowly or anything like that I know of. And there we go, done. Get a bunch of nice, good limb out of it. I'll take that. And then, of course, we're now going to just probably go grab some extra collectible stuff. And I do end up dying to the next big fight, or the last big fight. I think I died to it like twice. And I eventually start skipping the fights to get back to it. But I do end up getting some more materials, because I do fight some enemies on the way back to it. We'll talk about that when we get there. Right now, the main focus is getting there. Come up here, you find an REM, which is kind of a cool name for that, though. Read Earth Memory. That's just a really cool way of, because REM sleep and stuff, I guess, or I don't know. That's just how I take it as. It's like, oh, it's kind of like a, funny little play on words. They could have probably done RAM, though. No, well, no, because it wouldn't be Earth at that point. Yeah. It would be memory, sure, or read something memory. By the way, the mini cabin is on top of that truck that's sticking out of the left side of the wall. I do end up getting it, and I also get that upgrade component as well at some point that you can see in the bottom left. So you might not see it in the video itself, but I do get them in this playthrough. All right, I think I'm going to edit, or have an edit right about around here, because I died and had to go back to the shelter. And then I believe I cut to when I get back to the fight. Also, this is a new weapon. I think you unlock it in Lunatic, because I never remember seeing that thing at all. What do I get? Thrusters. Like I said, I usually kind of focus on getting thruster charges going, because I like having a ton of dodges. And I don't worry too much about auto-hacking. It's not bad to have, it's just, it kind of exists. Alright, emergency control thrusters is nice. You'll eventually get a modification that you'll get health back whenever you do it, which is cool. It's either a modification or it's an upgrade to it. But here's me dying again and then re-upgrading more crap. So you get to see it all over again. More stuff. Yay. It's pain on my end, but it's worth it for you guys, so. Yeah, this increases damage and open duration time and all that, and stun, which is really cool. So it's worth getting that type of stuff upgraded. And then whenever we get a chance to drop in some coins, and then there you go. Get our first bingo, and now we get another healing mechanic. Another Estus flask, if you will. These are useful, though, by the way. They are pretty useful from time to time. So I'd say that should be another focus of yours, is trying to get those upgraded. Not necessarily how much you heal, but just having a bunch of them. Although, having ones that heal a lot might be worth it, too, of course. No surprise there. We're not even halfway done with the damn actual sector itself. Okay, so here's me. Okay, this is the part where I'm going to show off me running away from the guys. And I might end up showing off the upgrade component too, which might be why I kept it around. But as you can see, whenever you do come back to life, you can fight them again. You can redo fights and stuff, which is not a bad ordeal, because again, it helps you get materials and you can kind of grind for them or whatever. It's just, guys, I'm not kidding around when I say this. I really like this game a lot. Like, I liked RE9 when it came out, but my god, something kind of, I don't know what it is, but it just kind of fell off for me. I don't know why. Maybe it's my brother getting the goddamn platinum trophy for it that probably made me super jealous and pissed off. I don't know. It could be. I don't know. That motherfucker got a platinum on Resident Evil before I did. That son of a bitch. I did try Insanity mode, and it was getting kind of annoying. I think I just suck or just got tired of it. One of the two. It's not a bad game, but this game right now has just been a lot of fun for me, so taking what I can. Alright, this fight. This fight is absolutely obnoxious. So the first thing I recommend is hiding behind the boxes that I was behind right there, those crates, to keep you away from the drone shots. And try your best to deal with the walkers first. And then whenever they happen to launch missiles at you, for the other drones, just send them back. Luckily enough, you can hear them coming, so it's not all that bad. And if you got any heat mods, just try to use them to help you knock these guys down so you just get the free kill and get a nice, good iframe jump toward them and possibly even get your overdrive going. Now, do save an overdrive, by the way. Try to have an overdrive saved up for this fight and use it on the second wave, not the first one. That's the most important thing you should be worrying about. And even though I do have impact barrier, the guns I recommend you have in this fight is, for red, have shockwave or piercer, whichever one you prefer. I'd rather have Shockwave, but that's just me. And for green, I recommend Riot Gun, the Riot Blaster. And then for blue, for the defense, I recommend Decoy, actually. And I'll talk about that when we fight him. So, these guys don't affect the crates in the middle, but the Enforcer guy does. The big giant robot guy that's going to spawn soon, he does actually affect the boxes, and he can ruin them. Now, as soon as these guys pop in, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to just whip an overdrive. I don't know why I stunned him for. I thought it was being cool, I guess. Go for an overdrive, and I would highly recommend, instead of fighting this guy, I mean, you can get as much damage on him now as you want, but I would suggest just fighting everybody else first. Take out the drone guys first, instead, because they're going to be the most obnoxious part of the fight, entirely. And if you do have some Brainwash, use Brainwash, or use Confuse on the Enforcer instead, if you do happen to have it. And then Decoy works against them pretty well because you can at least open up the... Like, whenever you go to hack the Enforcer guy, it'll open up his back. And if you have Decoy, you can just, shoot his back while he's distracted by that. Because Impact Shield's not going to help out that much. Or Impact Barrier's not going to help out as much as I thought it would. So, and then whenever you happen to hack him open, Riot Blaster, knock him on the ground, and then you can go for another hack again. Unless you want to use Decoy, and then do it that way. Those are the guns I suggest, and it's mainly just for this guy. And again, if you have Confuse, which is not necessarily highly recommended, but it's something that will kind of help you out a little bit, it'll at least keep him off your back for just a few seconds. And anything like that can, help. And this is where Rifle might come in handy, or at least Shockwave, but unfortunately I already used it all, so... Mainly just to blast off the antenna, because antenna stuff just sucks. Thankfully, the impact barrier will actually protect you from basically everything, including the laser shot. And by the way, the laser shot itself, even like the slam attack, is super dangerous. I mean, I know that kind of goes without saying, but it's incredible how deadly both these moves are, and they'll just completely kill you. For the body slam move, just run out of the way and dodge it that way. But for the laser, you kind of have to pay attention to him pretty much all the times. Because as you can see, he'll just, go around in like a full horizontal shot, and you have to pay close attention to that. But there's where the Riot Blaster comes in handy. You just want to kind of knock him on the ground a bit so you can get some free hacks going. And then make sure you hit the blue nodes while you're doing it too. And then this is where, Charge Piercer helps out a ton as well, because of charging up your maximum shot will do like a ton of damage and end off the fight. If you do happen to die a lot, just go back, go fight some more enemies, or hack. Sorry. Go get some more hacks going, get your overdrive up, and stay for phase 2. Wave 2. And like I said, just take out the drones. Because that's the main part of the phase that's annoying. If you try to hide a wave, like from the other side of the crates, the big guy will just break them. So, alright, we're 4 for 6. Got 2 more, and I don't think I get the other one in this part. I think I end up going back to the shelter and upgrading more crap, I believe. I'm about to whip this game out again and start playing Terradome, because that's where I'm at right now. Do that entire stage, because this game's fucking awesome. Hell, RE9, I gotta stop cussing. Resident Evil 9 was actually my game of the year, but honestly, man, I'll be real with you, Chief. I think this game actually might be taking that place for that. I don't know. It's so good. It's so fun to watch, too. And that's a good thing. Man, I feel like we hardly get games like that anymore. I know Slay the Spire 2 came out this year, and that's a good game, too, but I don't know. I like to have games like this that, give me that classic shooter, fun shooter feel again. I like those from time to time. I'm a sucker for them. What do you want? And now I'm buying the Riot Blaster because I'm like, wait a minute, that's actually kind of useful. I'll try to do better in the future. But I don't want to just die and reset every time just for the sake of getting a good run. I'll give you whatever advice I can to the best of my ability, but, most things work anyway, so it's fine. Anyway, that's it for this part. I'll see you guys for the next one when we finish off Chapter 2 entirely. As always, take care, everybody.